He's worth millions, but shops at thrift stores and makes coffee with a $25 machine. Why would someone with that kind of money live like he's broke? James walks into his kitchen wearing old sneakers and a plain gray hoodie. He pours himself coffee from a $25 machine he bought years ago. No fancy espresso maker, no private chef, just a simple breakfast, eggs, toast, and some fruit from the local farmer's market. Outside, his car is a used Toyota, not a Tesla or Rolls-Royce. He doesn't have a driver. He prefers driving himself. It's a classic example of stealth wealth, where rich people avoid flashy spending and live below their means to keep freedom, not appearances. And instead of heading to an office in a tall glass tower, he walks into a small co-working space downtown. It costs less than $100 a month. James has the money to live like a king, but he chooses not to.
Why?
Because he's learned something most people don't know. Living cheap helps you stay rich. Not just in money, but in time, freedom, and peace of mind. Rich people like James don't see frugality as a sacrifice. They see it as a smart choice. They buy what they need, not what impresses others. They stay focused, grounded, and in control. And that's the real secret. Many rich people don't look rich because they don't have to. Living cheap isn't a new idea. Some of the richest people in history were also the most careful with money. Take John D. Rockefeller, one of the richest men ever. He kept a notebook where he wrote down every penny he spent, even as a millionaire. He once said, "Save when you can and not when you have to." Then there's Warren Buffett. He's worth over $100 billion, but still lives in the same house he bought in 1958. He eats cheap fast food and doesn't spend much on clothes or fancy gadgets.
Why?
Because he believes spending less helps him stay focused on what really matters, making smart decisions. Even in today's tech world, many billionaires keep it simple. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, wears the same kind of t-shirt every day. Not because he can't afford more, but because it saves time and energy. After the COVID-19 pandemic, more rich people started thinking twice before spending. Many began talking openly about saving money and avoiding waste. The truth is, living cheap has always been part of becoming rich. It's not about being stingy, it's about being smart. And the richest people in history knew that well. Psychology behind the frugal mindset. Why do rich people choose to live cheap, even when they don't have to? It's not just about saving money. It's about how they think. Many wealthy people have a mindset called value thinking. They ask, is this really worth it? Before they spend. This is how stealth wealth thinkers avoid lifestyle inflation. They downsize, not because they have to, but because it's smart. Even if they have millions, they don't like wasting money. They enjoy feeling in control. Psychologists call this loss aversion. People feel worse about losing money than they feel good about gaining it. So, rich people often avoid spending on things they don't really need. There's also the idea of enough. Some wealthy people say they live simply because they already have what they need. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. They feel rich inside, not just in their bank accounts. Frugality also builds habits. When someone learns to be careful with money early in life, they often keep those habits forever. It becomes part of who they are. Living cheap gives them peace of mind. They don't worry about bills, debt, or keeping up with trends. And that quiet confidence helps them make better choices, not just with money, but in life. Being frugal isn't about being cheap. It's about being free. So what does stealth wealth look like in real life? Today, meet Sarah, a venture capital partner in New York City. She could afford a luxury apartment, but instead she chose a modest one-bedroom in a safe, quiet building. She cooks most meals at home and brings lunch each day in a reusable container. On weekends, Sarah rides her bike or takes the subway. She says riding the subway keeps her grounded and reminds her why she works hard. Then there's Amit, a tech startup founder in London. He once swapped his ride-hail carpool for an electric bike. It saves money, gives him exercise, and sometimes helps him see ideas he would have missed when zooming by in a car. Amit says living simply helps him stay creative and focused. And spy someone in a thrift shop blazer, heading into a high-level meeting? That's Maria, CEO of a small marketing firm in Toronto. She calls her style affordability chic. Maria believes dressing well doesn't mean buying expensive clothes. Instead, she picks quality secondhand pieces and blends them with new staples. People notice her confidence, not her price tags. Some wealthy people also join bulk buy cooperatives. groups where members share the cost of bulk groceries or household items. This lowers prices and creates a sense of community. Sure, they could have personal shoppers, but they choose to shop with neighbors because it builds real connections. These modern examples show a new type of luxury, one based on purpose, not price. The rich don't need to show off. They want to keep their lives simple, meaningful, and free from clutter, so they can focus on what matters most: ideas, relationships, and genuine experiences. Tangible strategies the wealthy use. Wealthy people swear by a few habits, tracking every dollar like it's a soldier in their army, asking, "What will this cost me later?" before every splurge, and refusing to fall for big brands when quality does the job. Many use debit over credit, always save before spending, and live below their means on purpose, not by accident. These aren't secrets. They're smart, repeatable moves that build wealth quietly over time, where they don't cut corners. Even though many rich people live simply, there are a few things they're happy to spend money on. One of them is health. Wealthy people often invest in good food, clean water, gym memberships, therapy, or regular checkups. They know that without health, money doesn't mean much. Health is their most valuable asset. If they feel good, they can think better, work smarter, and enjoy life more. They also spend on education. This might mean taking courses, reading books, or paying for their kids to learn new skills. They believe learning is a smart way to grow wealth and confidence. Some even hire coaches or mentors. They see education as a tool that keeps making money in the future. Another area they value is quality tools: a good laptop, strong kitchen gear, or a reliable car. Instead of buying cheap items over and over, they buy once and buy well. They choose tools that save them time and help them do better work. And lastly, they don't mind spending on experiences like travel, family events, or time with friends. These bring joy and strong relationships. They value memories more than things. The key is this: rich people spend smart. They don't just look at the price, they look at the value. If something brings growth, health, or happiness, they're willing to pay for it. So while they may skip the fancy watch or designer bag, they'll invest in what really improves their life. That's not being cheap, it's being wise. In short, they spend wisely, not to show off, but to make life better. Counterintuitive benefits of cheap habits. Living cheap might seem boring or limiting, but for many rich people, it actually brings surprising benefits. One big win is freedom. When you don't have big monthly bills or expensive tastes, you have more choices. You can leave a bad job, start a business, or take a break without worrying about money. Frugal habits also bring less stress. Many wealthy people say they sleep better knowing they don't owe money or have to keep up with others. Life becomes calmer when you're not chasing the next shiny thing. Another benefit is better connections. For example, attending free public talks or local meetups can lead to real friendships or business ideas. One entrepreneur met his future business partner at a free library event, not at a luxury conference. Also, living simply teaches gratitude. When you stop needing more, you start appreciating what you already have. This mindset makes people happier, no matter how much money they have. And finally, cheap habits build discipline, a skill that helps in business, investing, and life. It trains you to think before you act. So while frugality looks simple, it can lead to a life that's richer in every way. You don't need millions to start living like the rich. Try one small change today. Make your own coffee instead of buying it. Cook dinner at home 3 nights a week. Cancel one subscription you don't use. Start writing down what you spend each day. Pick one area to save money and choose one thing that really matters to you to spend on, like a hobby or a trip. The goal isn't to be cheap, it's to be smart. Small steps lead to big changes. And the earlier you start, the faster you'll feel the benefits. Being rich isn't about flashy cars or huge homes. It's about having choices, freedom, and peace of mind. Many wealthy people live simply not because they have to, but because it helps them stay focused, happy, and in control. You don't need to look rich to build wealth. You just need the right habits. The richest people often live like they're broke, on purpose. If you want real wealth, start with one small shift. Brew your coffee. Skip the takeout. Live smart. Live free. And remember, wealth isn't what you show, it's what you keep. Because sometimes, the richest people are the ones who spend the least. Want to learn how real people are building quiet wealth and achieving financial success? Then watch this video next. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.